over here is Brandon. What Brandon and I have done is made some models, and these are models and some ideas we want to get across to BP, Charlie Crist, Obama, people in the Gulf. We're going to try to get it on YouTube or get it to the people so that people can come up with some ideas or maybe even critique our stuff. Now, on the bottom of the ocean, what you have is this situation right here. They have already cut this off. They have cut this off. Now, my idea, instead of cutting this off like this, is to grind off the heads of these bolts. Once these heads are ground off, they can drive these bolts through. They can punch them through. And then they can remove this. Now they have a flange to work with. My idea was to take a flange, two flanges, and a shutoff valve. The size of this pipe. They make many types of shutoff valves. This is an idea I came up with. I put it on the internet. I've sent it everywhere I could think of. I can't get anybody to really respond to it. This is a ball. The ball rotates at a point where part or all of the hole through the ball is in line with the valve body. This is a small version of a shutoff valve. Now, if you look inside there, you can't see through there. Now, but you give it a quarter of a turn, and you can see through there. Now, this is a small version. This needs to be made into this here, a larger version, with the flange at the top and a flange at the bottom. Once you have your shutoff valve in between these two flanges, you can lower this from your ship on the top down to here, down to the other flange. Now, to line these bolts up, you're going to need a couple of these lining up tools. Awls, they have tools that can line up these holes. Once you line up the holes, then you can put your bolts in. And this is going to be done by a robot on the bottom of the ocean, a mile deep. Once you put these bolts in, these robots have tools that will ratchet this right down tight. And then you're going to pull these out, and then you're going to put the rest of your bolts in. Once this is attached to the flange, then your robot can shut off the flow of oil. This is one version, and I tried to make this to scale. I believe this is the best idea. This idea I got from watching Hellfire with John Wayne and a few other movies. The same thing they did, they blew the fire out, they brought over the shut-off valve, they used the gate valve, they hooked it up, did it the same way. Dry land is great, they're a mile deep. I think it can be done. Why they haven't done it, I don't know. The second version I got to is we're going to use this pipe right here. This is the pipe that's leaking oil. Now in this setup, I got this idea from a needle valve in a carburetor. Inside a carburetor, there's a needle valve. A needle valve controls the flow of gas through the carburetor. It's tapered. It starts out small and ends up big, like this awl here. And what it does is it controls, when this comes in and out, it lets more gas in and out. The higher you have it, the faster your car goes. When you're on an idle, this is almost all the way down. Now, basically what I wanted them to do is make this. They can make this out of solid iron. Brandon, get a shot of that full length. This is about 25 feet long. This is actually a hollow tube, which they can also do. We'll talk about that later. I would like to see it made out of solid iron and lowered from their vessel on top of the ocean here at sea level down into this pipe. And what we're basically doing here, it can be lowered in here. This is just a model. Or here. I'm using this because this fits this pipe better. Now, when they lower it down in here, this is like putting a cork in a bottle. And let's say this thing weighs a couple of tons. They got it on a cable. They use their robot to guide it down into the pipe. And they're going to lower it and lower it and lower it and lower it until they get a tight fit. Once you've got a tight fit there, you've stopped the oil. And you got to remember, this thing can be solid and weigh a ton, 2 tons. I don't care, whatever it takes to stop the flow of oil out of this pipe. Now, another thing they can do, if they want to make this hollow, it's going to be like a syringe needle. They can make it hollow, and they can put a shut-off valve up there along with the stop the flow of oil. That's the most important thing. When they get ready, they can hook up their pipe and run it up to their ship, and then they can turn the valve in the open position and still pump oil out of this pipe here. So this is a win-win situation for them and us. BP, I don't know why you're not using them. Now, Brandon also came up with an idea which he thinks is very good, and basically it's over here. This is a ball valve right here. This is in the closed position. What I'm talking about, this is an open position, this is a closed position. It's a very simple, easy thing to use. It's easy to install. I mean, this is what they need. They have to shut the oil off. There's no taking a vacuum here and trying to suck the water coming out of here, the oil coming out of that pipe. They need to shut it off. So out here is another problem. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you the idea that Brandon thinks is a very good idea. Is basically, this is your pipe at the bottom of the ocean there. This can be bought at Home Depot. These come in many different sizes. These are used to clean out drains, and they're also used to check pressure on a home for a plumber. A plumber has to put this in there. He puts a pressure gauge on it. He puts air in it, and he got 30 pounds of pressure. 2 days later, he should still have 30 pounds of pressure. Now what happens, what Brandon and I figured out we should do is if they could put this on a long shaft, heavy shaft, and drive it down in that hole. Once it's down in that hole, as far as you can get it, then you want to turn the pressure on to this. And what happens when you apply pressure to this is it swells up. And if you'll see, it'll swell up. Now that's quite big. That's plenty big enough to stop the oil from coming out of this pipe. And Brandon and I, he likes this idea. He thinks it's simple, it's going to be quick. I mean, this is patented. I mean, this could be made to do the job. I agree with him. I mean, we have to do something. Somebody has to do something. And what we're appealing is people out there, we're trying to do this video so we can get this video on YouTube, or we can get it to somebody that's going to listen or ask questions or critique this. Any of this may work and may not work. We think it's going to work. I mean, look at that. I mean, as long as you got the pressure on it, it's going to stop the oil from coming out. You're not going to retrieve any oil. This is just going to block it here. I mean, so this is a very good idea also. So we are going to drop this here and just let everybody know. We want everybody to watch this video to its fullest extent. If you can, help us out. We're all trying to stop this oil flow. That's the idea. It's been 57 days, and it's going to get worse. If they think they're going to do a relief hole, I don't think a relief hole is going to work. If you're in your front yard, watering your car, washing your car, your wife's in the back, turns the hose on, and she's watering her plants, you don't lose any pressure. I mean, this oil needs to be stopped, and it needs to be stopped today. It needs to be stopped 45 days ago, 50 days ago, 57 days ago. Okay? Thank you very much for listening to our video. Brandon and I are signing off. Brandon, give him a shot of yourself.